Hello creative developers. Today I will be making a mini tutorial on how to create this toggle switch using Framer, and we will also be making this toggle switch affect some other frames inside of our application. So meaning we can switch from a dark theme to a light theme, for an example, and we'll see how that involves working with code inside Framer and how Framer uses a sort of a React structure to help us make use of it quite easier, since us developers, we are quite accustomed to using React as our development framework. So I will start a new project right now, and this is our page. I will only need one page, but if you have multiple pages for your project, you'll have to make use of multiple pages here, but I only need just one page. And then we have layers as well. This is where we are going to see our nested layers when we add a frame, or a frame inside of a frame inside of a frame. We'll see the nesting happening inside our layers. This is the assets. I've already started with the project a little bit, but this I didn't do much. Don't worry. You know what, let me just delete this, and because we can just import that in. So this is where you view your components. So for example, if you draw your frame, oh, I already started with this. Let me delete that. So we have this folder project. This is whatever we add in here, whatever we add as a component will be listed here. If it's not a component, it will be listed in the layers, as well as the assets. So to get started, we start with the screen. This is the dimension of our canvas. I will use the iPhone 13 size, which is 390 by 844, and then I will draw a frame inside, and I want this frame to always be centered. So how am I going to do that? I will drag this at the center until these guidelines show me that my frame is centered within the canvas here. So, or I can make use of these tools here. So these are your canvas alignment tools. You got your left, center, and left, center, and right. We've got your top, center, and bottom, and then we can make those work for you. Or the easier way, I feel, would save you a lot of time, is to stack your frame. And as you noticed, if the frame isn't stacked, I can put this anywhere. I can put this, let it go, put this here, and it can stay there. But if you stack it, I will drop it anywhere, but it'll go to the top. Take it outside, drop it here, it'll go to the top. That's because stacking controls our content. So right now it distributes our content to the top of our canvas. I can tell it to distribute it at the center. That's where it's going to stay. No matter what I do to move it, it won't go anywhere. And now you can also tell it to go to the left of alignment, the end, space between meaning if you have two, it puts a space in between them, space, so it distributes them evenly, always puts space in between them. And then if you have this one that says space around, this one will put an even space around the object. So if we have 15 here, we're going to have 15 here until here. This is for this one, and then start another 15 from here until here. So we have 30 padding, I would believe, here. We have 15 here. So, and then we also have space evenly. So this means that to mitigate the fact that this one adds space between the two sides here and makes it uneven from this side to on this side, we can make use of our space evenly here. So make sure that everything it's the same space. So this is the stacking. No matter what you do, you can also move this stuff around. You can easily move it around. It'll snap to the correct position. So this saves you a lot of time. You don't make mistakes. You don't have to fix. anything, when you made a mistake of moving something accidentally, you'll know that it'll snap there whenever you need it to. You can resize, it doesn't matter what the size of the thing is, it'll always snap where you want it to be. So done. We only need this. I will stack this as well, put a frame inside of this, and I will change the color to a white color. And then I want my stack, this green stack, to resize its height according to this one. So I don't want to manually take this circle and position it here and then resize this so that it can be the same distance from top to height. So I want that to be automatic for me. I don't have time to space around things like that. So I will stack the green frame and I will set the height to fit the content, meaning that if we don't have a padding, this is how it's going to look like, right? And then when we add padding, look at what happens to the height of the green. It resizes itself. So padding is space that's inside our element, and then it pushes everything that's inside away from the edge. So we said push everything from the edge by 5 pixels, and then it automatically adjusts the height of the green thing. And the reason why it doesn't squeeze this round circle here, it's because it has a fixed height. So meaning nothing can adjust this. Nothing outside of the circle itself can adjust the height and width of this. So it'll stay that way. That's why this guy is the one that goes up and down when we add padding here. So now I need to add a state for this switch. I need it when it's turned off, when it's turned on for it to look like this, and then when it's turned off to look like this. And to do that, we will create a component. We'll call it a toggle. This is our state called variant1. I will rename it to off, and then I will add another state and rename it to on. And then the off state will have our circle looking this way, and then our on state will have our circle being on, wait, this is the off, and then this is the on, right. So if you noticed, if we change this guy also changes. This is because on is an instance of off, and off is the primary one. This is the parent. Whatever you do to the parent affects the child of it, unless if you affect an attribute of the child. For example, I will keep this on with this color. So now I changed the color of the child, but now when I change the color of the parent, nothing's going to change. Even if I set them the same color, if we go to change to other colors, it won't change. That's because this guy has a unique property of the color. So our off will look black, and then our on will look green. And now we have our off state here, but we still can't make it switch from on and off when we click on it. Now to make it do that, we go to our state here, and by the way, you double click on, if you see it's turned into a component now. If it's a component, it'll be purple, and you'll see it as, it'll have this icon instead of a sort of like a circle or this stacking icon here. So you double click on it, and we use our interaction here. The tool will enable us to click between this state and this state. So we will grab this little connection shape here and then move it to this one. We'll also move this connection shape and move it to this one. And then now we have our toggling state. So now Framer handles transitions for you, especially if shapes are the same. If shapes are the same, it'll handle the transition for you. Especially when it comes to components, it'll make everything smooth and work very nicely. You can add delays and cycling transition, and you can also change to where its target is, the variant, and then on tap or on start or on appear. When the app loads, it's supposed to toggle or what. So those are the states that you can set for the interaction there. We just need the tap, and we need it to transition once. with no delay, and then it's to go to the on variant, and then same goes to the on variant. We want it to have the same attributes but go to the off variant. So that's that. Now I said that I will make this toggle state affect everything else, and we're also missing our little icon in there and the little animation that it does where it spins, does a little spinny move there. So let's implement that. So we've got our circle here. The width and height is 48. That's good. We go to our graphics. This is where we find our icons and illustrations and things like that. Go to icons. You can use feather icons, hero, iconim, material. I use material design icons because you can actually get them and use them in your actual projects. These are actual icons that you can use in an application. They look exactly the same. They behave exactly the same. So we'll use the material icon, and then we remember you affect the parent, it affects the child, unless if it's unique, and this is new, so they're the same, it'll affect everything. So this is our duck theme. We need our duck mode icon. So in here we need our light mode icon, and then we will change the color to be the same as the background, even here. And then to add a transition of a rotation, we will grab this on around, and then we will add a rotation here. I will say minus 360 degrees, and then let's see how it works. Okay, it's in reverse. What I need to do is to just get rid of the minus. Now we've got our toggle state working beautifully like that, and that is how you add the icon in there. Can do a lot of things with this, can do a whole bunch of things with this. So for now I will do that. And then now I want this toggle to affect our canvas. I want our canvas to switch from this color when it is on. Also, so when it is on, it'll be this color. And then okay, so let me change the color here a little bit. So when it is on, it'll be, oof, oh no, oh geez. Okay, I'll choose this one before I waste more time on that. Okay, so we will have, when it's on, we will have this gray going on, and then when it's off, let's go to our state here, and then when it is off, we will make it a, okay, let me see the theme here. Looks like I made a mistake. Okay, cool, my colors are inversed, so let's fix that. So instead of this one being black, this one is white, and the round is the black one. And instead of this one being this color, it's white, and it's this guy who has color. So this icon, time to switch colors of the icons. Let's switch the icon colors, and then we get back now. Now I can style it the way I always wanted it to. So when it's in duck mode, when it's off, this is how I want it to look, and then when it's on, this is how it should look, right? So we have already our color codes preset for us there, so we can't lose anything. So I will make this little guy here affect our canvas's background. So this is where code comes in, right? One could easily do this in Framer. Like, it's so easy. You can do this and then set background dark, tell it to come here upon tap, not instant but magic. Set it to magic, and you have your transition right there, right? Easy peasy lemon squeeze, easily done. But I don't want to use this way. It's boring. It's very boring for me as a dev. I want to still touch code, you know. I want to have an idea of how it's going to work once I touch the application. I'm not going to develop two screens that are the same but different with how they look in terms of color. So I will create a code file, a new override, and I will call it theme. And then we have our code component here, our code override, I mean. So they give you a bit of examples of how this whole thing works. So let's go through this code a little bit. So we are importing the component type here, which we use as a type for our function. And then we create store. This is where we actually store. It's like your use state. Think of create store as your use state. So we have random color as well. I guess this one will get a random color from the utils.js library. And then we've got our function here. So the way we do the function is quite different from React. As you can see, there's React here, but this structure we return twice, and there's props, not here, props being inserted from here, not in here, and stuff like that. So we export our function with rotate. So this function, what it will do, see, we don't have any click events, we don't have anything. It will animate our component, which is whatever component we are going to assign this function to animate. It's going to animate it to rotate at a 90-degree angle, and it will make that transition last for 2 seconds. So how that will look like is that we can assign that function using this overrides here. We will, you see, it already knows our theme file, which is in our assets here, and then we will select the rotate function here, and then we will preview that, and this is what happens when we assign that function. So it overrides the properties that we already have. So what are the properties that we have? The properties that we already have is that our rotate is 0 degrees. That's it. That's what we are overriding here, our rotation, and then we are making it last for 2 seconds, right? So, and then with hover, okay, we say, okay, when we hover the mouse on top of our component, scale it up 1.5 times. So if we are to assign that function, we will see that this is what happens when we hover on our state right there, on our toggle. We don't need a lot of we don't need everything here. What we need is probably this function for reference. There's some copy and pastes that I'll need to do there, but I like typing, so we'll export our function. We will say change theme, give it a component, and then we'll give it a type of component type, and open those braces there. We will return our props. I'm repeating everything that's been written on this other function, but turning it into a boilerplate of some sorts. So we've got, so this entire function is basically this function, but without all the added props and our use states there. So we're gonna add those. I will add a theme property here. This will enable us to switch from dark to light, or from one color to another, and then and this will trigger that change of color. So we have our change theme here. So now what I want to do is assign the props of this component, whatever props that this component comes with. I want to assign those props to this component here, because this component will turn into our toggle up here. So let's open up our preview so I can point at the right thing when I'm making an example, right? So now we've got our state, we've got our thingy there, property there. I want to put an on-click function. Got our on-click function here, arrow function. So we've got access to our store. I need to change this from dark to light with every single click. It needs to just switch from true, false, and that's it. So we can use that. We can make that using an if statement by saying store.theme. So if store.theme is true, then set store, we're gonna say theme. If it's true, then we want it to be false. Otherwise, set store to true. Right, let's refix that. And then when we go inside, we're going to come to our overrides, come in here and say change theme. And then now we need something visual to show us that, okay, this is working, this entire logic is working. By the way, there's a shorthand to actually write this. You don't have to write it this long way. And then let me write that shorthand. I will comment out our if statement here. It will work. It will work. And then I'll show that later. So let me write the shorthand quickly. So the shorthand is that we call our set store immediately, and then we're going to say theme, and then to change the variable. So how will it know that it's supposed to be true when it's false, when it's false, when it's true? We add this thing. So we'll add this symbol. So what this symbol does, it negates the state, the current state. So it turns it into a negative. If it's a true, it turns it into a false. If it's a false, it turns it into a true. So let's just check how that works. So now we want our theme to turn true when it's false and turn false when it's true when we click on this component. So we are going to have access. We're going to say store.theme. So now our theme in set store will be assigned the opposite of what the current value is because of this guy. So when we click on the component, it'll check our store theme and see if, and this will see that, oh, our theme is true, so I'll set it to false, and oh, it's false, I'll set it to true again. And that's basically what we want. So basically eliminated how many lines of code? 5 1 2 3 4 5 lines of code. 4, let's be fair here, 4 lines of code. Or what, you can just reduce the code to this much. It can be a single line of code. So basically we've done the same thing. Boom. But it's just a bit, it's a whole lot shorter. If you see a lot of curly braces and colons and everything, we call the same thing twice but give it different values. So redundancy, a little bit of redundancy there. But if it's a complex if statement, then obviously you won't use shorthands to solve a complex expression with an if statement there. So we are done. Now this, when we click on our switch here, it works. Our back there, our true turns to false, our false turns to true. But now we need something visual to show us that that's actually the case. So I will reuse this function that I was using as a reference. So I will say set theme. So we have everything the way we want it to, but our background needs to change depending on our theme. So instead of just setting a singular property, I will also remove this on click. We won't make use of it. I will go to my store.theme and I will use the ternary operation right there. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, cool. So I will use the ternary operation. So ternary operation is basically our if statement here. So if store.theme is true, so we are asking a question, is store.theme true? If it's yes, then set it to false. If it's not, then set it to true, right? Same thing with the ternary operation. We are asking our question here, is our theme true or false? If it's true, then give it this value. If it's false, then give it this value. You see, or our error is gone, and now we just need to apply our color. So we said that we want our canvas to be this color when our toggle is active. So we will paste it here when it's true, and when it's false, we'll just put this there. So now we are going to override our background using this background that we stated here, and the value of that background is determined by our theme, and our theme is changed by this component here using this operation over here. And then we can go to our canvas, go to overrides, set theme, and then we can see what's going on. So it starts off as being off when our toggle is on. That's because initially we choose our variant to be on, like its initial state. So we have to choose its initial state to be off so it works well with the background. So now if we turn this on, it works. So you can do a lot of things with this. You can make some incredible stuff with this animation with all this setup. So you can like think of how you're going to make your app dark, turned from a dark theme to a light theme. So for example, let me just say set main BG. So we come here, now we see our override has been not selected anymore because we changed the name. So we gotta go back and change this one. So what I want to do now is let me add a frame, create a little bit of a UI. Let's fill that. I want to make a UI. Let's duplicate this, duplicate with Control D. I will stack this, remove the background, and I will make sure that everything's stacked to the center. Take this, put it inside our stack, and then we've got our frame here. So what I will do for this frame, I will remove the background and I will add another frame inside of it, and this frame will be filled. It won't stack, this one will stack. So remove the padding, make sure everything is centered. We'll make sure this fills everything. Go back to the main stack that doesn't have color, add some padding to it. Right, and then we will add a radius there of 10, and I will give it a color of okay, let's choose this one and go a bit. Okay, let's choose black and play with the opacity a little bit. Okay, let's make it white. Let's make it white. So for text, it's not easy to make. It's not quite simple to make it change color. So I will cheat and write the app name here. So what I will do, just paste. I will write a text here that says toggle toot. I will give it a bold font with, okay, I think this will be it, and I will align it to the start and add padding as well to this guy. So I will add 20. So what I want to do show you that from anywhere you can make use of this. I will add padding as well here. So I want this guy to change color, so I will copy this and paste it here. So set header BG. We'll save that. Come to our overrides, set header BG. So you can work with this, and I will change this text to gray so it's visible on black and like bright surfaces. So I actually want to make this not 100% dark. I want it to do it this way. Go back to our thingy, and instead of this being 100% dark, we'll put that in there. So now we'll go there. You see, you got a light mode and a dark mode, or a light mode and a dark mode. A dope way of showing how to like it's an easy, I feel like it's an easy way because it's one setup and you get it from anywhere. You can create a new page. You can still make use of this thing other than to duplicate every time. You have to duplicate. What if the UI gets complex? All you need to do is design one screen, and you know your colors, you know your color properties. All you need to do is come to the overrides and then set header BG, and then you know that from anywhere, wherever this application, wherever the user clicks this within the prototype, they can change the color scheme of the application. Right? I found out very, very cool indeed. Okay, let's change this to doing indeed. This one will be 50, and then I can't say fit content. Fit content. So now, yeah, so now it's working well, and you can view it like a normal application. And that's it. That's the incredibility of using Framer.